To take the conversation even further, we're joined by political analyst, Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast. A very good evening to you, Professor. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, how should we interpret the leadership's calls at today's gathering? Was it a genuine push for renewal or more about optics and damage control?
I think the damage is done, and unfortunately, in my view, what is done cannot be undone. I think the ANC is sort of like sensing a danger that it doesn't stand a chance to do well in the upcoming local government elections. No wonder it is making this call, because if the call was made in good faith that, councillors must do this and that, blah, 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 then the president and the ANC officials in the upper echelons of power would have done that long time ago. How do you get a mandate for 5 years? You become perpetually silent, and all of a sudden, when you are on the verge of participating in the elections, then you make a call that your councillors must do this and that. If they don't do this or do that, you are going to recall them. So to me, that suggests that the call is not made in good faith. I really don't buy it. I think it's all talk and no action.
So looking ahead then, what are the possible implications of today's attitudes for the ANC's cohesion and electoral strategy in the next election cycle? If we have to look at the tone of today and perhaps just see what the probabilities are.
Well, my reading of the situation is that the ANC is sort of like framing a narrative now that it cares about the sphere of local government, and it cares about improving the lives of the people, even though the evidence, unfortunately, it suggests, the exact opposite of that, and that it intends to do something in terms of promoting development for the majority, even though there is a sense of appreciation in terms of how the deployees of the ANC have let down the people of their own municipalities. Talking about the fact that the president was making a reference to certain municipalities which are led by the DA, which are doing well.
Yes.
And that ANC councillors should look up to the DA, which is very interesting in my view, because it's like giving the DA, an upper hand and putting your own party on the back foot. But anyway, it's one of those things.
Yeah, that the strategy there was a bit questionable. In fact, my colleague Samkele Maseko now was saying, okay, it's all very well to talk about those areas that are doing well, but what about Kukuletu? What about the Khayelitsha? What about those areas in trying to assess the bigger picture?
Yes, he's on point there, because the problem at local government level is the model that is being employed. They use the neoliberal model that the market forces must be the ones that take the lead in terms of promoting development, and the local state should take the back seat. And that model does not work. That's why, for instance, in Cape Town, I've stayed there for a very long time. The divide has not been narrowed, and it doesn't look like it will be breached. So Samkelo was on point there, that in terms of the institutional factors, in terms of getting clean audits, the DA does that year in and year out. But in terms of creating jobs, because you must remember, local government is not only about fetching the garbage. Is about growing the local economy. It's about creating jobs. It's about this, it's about that. So those economic spin-offs, they are not felt on the ground by the poorest of the poor, in particular by blacks.
So how would you view today the event? How does it fit into the broader trajectory of the ANC's internal politics, especially with looming elections and conferences?
Yeah, so I think maybe the ANC is going to put those conferences on hold and focus on its plan in terms of campaigning, so that those dynamics at local government level, I mean, I'm talking about now, the regional politics and so on, they don't spill over on other ANC processes, because, things can be ugly when it comes to who's is going to be on the list, and so on. So I think to make sure that everything goes according to plan, they might put all the conferences on hold and put their focus on the upcoming local government elections.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for speaking to us this evening. Political analyst, Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast.